Adam, how's the week been, and what have you taken from the final quarter that you might be able to take into the week against Freo?
Yeah, we review the game like we normally do, but it was a bit different with the game on the weekend being so fractured, I suppose. There was a really consistent look in the first half where we thought, we matched Melbourne in a lot of areas, dealt with momentum well. Third quarter, for a 10-minute period there at the back end, we lost control of the game, and then we really took it on in the last 15 minutes and played some good football. So yeah, we'll take the positives, and we'll also keep working on the areas we need to work on.
You've got such a good record against Fremantle. Do you believe you've got the wood over them, and that that confidence can be used by the players heading into this game?
Yeah, look, you could assume that, but to be honest, I don't think our players or our coaches live in that space. I mean, every time you play a team, it's a different team, and obviously a different regime with Fremantle in recent times. So, how far back do you look? We'll look at round 7's game and try and work what we did well and see where the game's changed since then, which it probably has a little bit, and sides and personnel have changed. So you look at the history from a strategic point of view, but not a long-term look, no.
And what about your selection revolving door of injuries in and outs that keep on happening? Talk us through what we're going to see in a couple of hours.
Well, Shannon won't be available, and Liam Duggan won't be available. So we've got some guys who trained today in Liam, Luke and Tom, and they all seem to get through training really well. So it's a 6-day break. We didn't do a lot, and Josh didn't do much today. We'll test him out on the captain's run, so he's still touch and go.
Are you concerned at all? We've seen the difficulty of trying to add players back in when they've been injured, even if it's been 1 or 2 weeks. It's just been so disjointed with your selection. Are you concerned at all about having to go again with more injured guys out and more returning injured players in?
Yeah, we are, but we think, we learn every time we do it. They're exceptional players that we're bringing in. How we manage them and manage their minutes, that's always a challenge. There's no easy way around that. But we're confident they've done the work and they're fit and ready to go. So, all 3 players in particular haven't been an extended period out of the game. I think Tom's missed 4 or 5, which is creeping towards that way. But the other boys have missed 2 or 3, and we feel like there's still touch and fitness there. So, yeah, we go with our fingers crossed a little bit, but also a little bit of confidence as well.
Is there much difference?
Sorry, go, Craig.
Is there much you can do differently with those guys as they come in? I imagine there's not a lot you can do from a rotation or a management perspective once they're in the team.
Oh, there's little things you can do, yeah, but at the same time, not significant. So these guys have been around a long period of time, so they're professionals, and they wouldn't be putting their hand up if they didn't think they were ready. So, like I said, we've been working on this all year, and the synergy piece, and the way that, unfortunately, we've been a little bit disjointed. It's still not an excuse for some of the games where we've been off. So that's a different situation. But these guys they're pros, so we expect them to come in and play their role.
How about your ruck situation, Adam? You've tried a lot there to support Nick. Have you got a leaning at the moment on what your best setup is there? Yeah,
we'll work through that. We've got match committee this afternoon. We played Vards last week. We've noticed that Freo are playing two bigs in the ruck department. We've tried Oscar before as well, and we've even slipped in McGovern as well. So we'll talk about that this afternoon at match committee. But all those options are still on the table.
Adam, how's
Bailey Williams.
Sorry,
you go, Schmucky.
Sorry, Bailey Williams. Is he going to be available? Will he be one that you talk about in match committee?
He's available for some minutes at Waffle. So, unfortunately, he's been injured the last 3 or 4 weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks, which, the ideal role for us to help out Nick is a forward that can pinch hit in the ruck. And obviously, Oscar Allen's been doing a little bit of that. That's where Bailey fits into the side, but he's not available at the moment. And Vards has been doing it for a long period of time. So we'll keep working through those opportunities for us. knowing that we probably haven't settled in on one particular way about it.
Adam, we spoke to Justin Longmuir this morning and he said they're really benefiting from being out of quarantine this week. Of course, that's in contrast to you guys being in quarantine. What's the week been like in the preparations and how much does that hinder you guys?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's different because you can't really do too much outside of your own home. For the players, it would be a little bit different. Their day off, which is tomorrow, that's when you get to the beach or you go out and see friends or just disconnect a little bit from football, and they'll just have to spend it at home. So, if they want to go for a walk, they've got to come into the football club and walk around the oval. So, but look, I don't really think that's an excuse or a reason for us not to perform at our best. It's just the current environment we're in at the moment, and we've been very fortunate all year. So to be in a home quarantine for 2 weeks is nothing compared to what some other clubs have had to deal with this year.
And with the log jam from 8th position to about 12th or 13th, just how significant is this sort of mini final, almost like an 8-point game?
Oh, and it's probably not an 8-point game. It's a final, really. We understand that. I'm sure Longy and Fremantle understand that as well. This is one of the more important derbies that we've all played in for a long period of time. So, yeah, it's high stakes this week.
Hey Simo, it's Chatters here. Just following on from that, there's a lot of fans, I guess, having a bit of fun doing their top 8 predictors. In your calculations, are you thinking that you're going to need 2 wins, given how the other games are probably going to pan out?
I haven't done the ladder predictor, Chatters, but I'm assuming we're going to have to win both games to play finals, and that's where my headspace is, and that's obviously our mission. So that's why it's not an 8-point game. This is you need to win to play finals game.
And given the team's been involved in so many final series recently, how do you think that experience will hold them instead, I guess, having that big game experience there?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I suppose our list has been around for a while. We've had a lot of success in the last 8 years, and obviously you can draw on that experience in bigger games. But I'm not quite sure if that makes a difference when you run on the field, in front of 60,000 Fremantle supporters. So we'll need to deal with what's in front of us, and we need to play in a way that is in the moment and in what the game needs, not potentially what happened around the game. We need to be concentrating on the moment, I suppose.
And you touched on JK earlier, that he might be touch and go. Well, what exactly has he done to that knee, and do you think you'll name him and then just kind of make a decision later in the week?
Yeah, we'll name him. We think he's going to play, but we just want to see him get through training at the captain's run. So it's just a knock to the knee. It's nothing significant, but we just want to make sure he hasn't trained on it. It's been a light week. He probably wouldn't do too much anyway on a 6-day break, like a lot of our players. So yeah, it's a bit early in the week to make a call on it. So we'll see how we go later in the week.
And preparing for a midfield without Brayshaw and Fife, how differently do you go about that now?
Oh, no different. No, we think that Fremantle's strength, one of their strengths is around the stoppages and contest. It's been, obviously they've had injury concerns throughout the year as well, and I think they've spread the load really well. So there's enough personnel there to do a lot of damage. So we're not taking anything lightly in this game, and in fact, I think it's a real strength of Fremantle. So yeah, there'll be a really good battle in the midfield.
Cool. Thanks, Simon.
Liam Duggan, Simo, I know you're waiting on medical advice about his knee. Have you learnt anything else there in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I have, but I'm not quite sure if I'm in a position to tell you. So I haven't consolidated our opinion, and I haven't connected with Liam or the docs yet on what and how we're going to move forward. So yeah, there's more information, and I suppose watch this space. We'll probably get something out in the next few days.
What are you weighing up? Is it good or bad news?
Well, obviously, if it was good news, I'd be saying it. So I don't know. Well, I do know, but I don't want to tell you. So we'll just have to wait a couple of days, and I just want to be on the same page as everyone else at the club before we move forward on what Liam needs to do this year or in the future. Sorry.
Yep, fair enough.
In relation to mid-game run-on, Simo, you've talked a lot about that this year. Have you come up with anything new that you can do that the players can automatically implement this week if it gets away from them again, rather than you trying to do it on the fly in the box when you're trying to get a runner out to talk to them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, on the weekend, I thought we didn't do a lot wrong. Melbourne just played a pretty special brand there for 10 to 15 minutes. It started with probably Gawn and the mids got on top just for a brief period around the stoppages, and then the predictability with the ball. We kick a couple of balls out in the full. We invite pressure on us when that happens. We lose field position, and they make the most of their opportunities. I think there's times like that, and then there's times that we've had in previous games where defensively been really poor, and the inability to get the ball back off the opposition has been a concern. So there's a few things we're working through. We've identified them, we're working hard on it, and hopefully it's rectified. The issue we've got is it's round 22, and it's getting a bit late in the year to be ironing out these challenges. So we're onto it though, we're working hard on it, and hopefully we fix it this week.
And you mentioned the finals element of it for everyone with the 2 games to go. Have you noticed a narrowing of focus from the players, given we're at the pointy end of where it's now or never sort of scenario?
Not really. I feel like our players are always, despite the mixed results this year, they're professionals, and they rock up every week during the week in a way that they come to learn, they come to get better, they train as hard as we've ever trained. Unfortunately, that hasn't resulted in as many wins as we would have liked this year, but their attitude is always professional, and I suspect everyone in the competition is similar, trying to get their minds right and maybe free the mind up a little bit. We saw a contrast on the weekend when the game was perhaps out of reach. There was a little bit more freedom in their eyes, so perhaps that's what we need, rather than trying to sharpen it. Might need to be a bit looser.